to go ahead and get started with today's show. And you know, when you hear this, it's time for one thing and one thing only. Peeps, brace yourself, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. It is time for
Wrestling Crash Course.
How you doing there, Peeps?
Oh, I'm good. Grief. A little more space.
You're great. So great. Hey, exactly. He's not bunched in, guys. How amazing is that? But look, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started here with Wrestling Crash Course. And it's only right that we... Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it wouldn't be Wrestling Crash Course. It wouldn't be Saturday afternoon's main event without starting with the biggest piece of wrestling news for the week. Ladies and gentlemen, say his name and the champ appears. Joe Hendry is your new TNA World Champion. Peeps, it's been a long time coming from the moment that we've been seeing these memes since last year around this time. Fast forward 365 days later, Joe Hendry's our new champion in TNA.
Yes.
How are we feeling?
It feels good. I think that this was the opportunity after the last pay-per-view that they did, where Hendry had that shot and didn't win it. And it was kind of, well, what are they going to do? How long are they going to take before they finally pull the trigger and put the belt on him? He is probably the most over guy in the company, without question. And one could probably reckon that that popularity bleeds into when he's on TNA, when he does his periodic showings on Impact, and when he goes on to NXT and they showcase him and he'll do a promo here or there. You could arguably say he's probably the most over there too. So this had to happen, especially after the news that we got last week with TNA and with WWE having a symbiotic relationship, so to speak, with NXT and TNA. I think this had to happen, and he becomes the ambassador, the face of TNA going forward. How long that reign happens, I'm not sure, but I'm glad that it happened because it needed to happen.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Now, peeps, that being said, knowing that the Royal Rumble is only in a matter of days, I should say now, because it's literally next week.
Yes.
Peeps, alongside probably Joe Hendry showing up at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana, who else do you mind seeing from that TNA roster going ahead and showing up to the Royal Rumble?
Moose. Moose.
There we go. There we go, peeps. There we go.
Moose. That's all. If he gets in there and it turns into a Royal Rumble where it's just a bunch of big meaty men slapping meat throughout a segment of the Royal Rumble, I am all for it. But if they're doing this crossover stuff and we get to see one of those kinds of matches, if I don't see Obafemi and Moose try to kill each other in a ring within the next couple of months, I think the stratosphere, the ionosphere, and everything in the heavens would probably be on fire if we let those two beat each other senseless.
BMMSM. I get it.
There you go.
I understand.
There you go.
I mean, there's so many names that we can choose from, whether it be Jeff Hardy, whether it be Nick Nemeth, whether it be Moose Indeed, whether it be, I mean, for God's sakes, peeps, Mustafa Ali, maybe? Can you
imagine the Rascals showing up in there just for the Rumble, just to showcase what they can have?
I mean, truth be told, if Chelsea Green's a part of WWE, I mean, we did see Matt Cardona show up on that episode of TNA. I'm not being too ahead of myself here, but you know, peeps, listen. I think WWE and TNA are always ready for these kinds of moments.
Yes. See, now you sound like low key. All you can do is be. You remember those promos?
I remember those promos. Much, man. Good grief. Oh, man. Look,
there you go.
From there, we move to the world of WWE, and I only have 3 words for you. Belair, Ripley, Mania. Peeps, there have been rumblings for the last couple of days on every single wrestling site, social media. IWC's in a frenzy about it. They're probably thinking it's going to happen. We don't know if it's really going to happen. This is just speculation. This is just rumors. But I think we've been alluded to this match for a while. The possibility of seeing Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley go head-to-head for that Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. Peeps, what are the odds?
That I would say the odds are probably at maybe 30, 40% now. And if they build it through, I can see that happening. But the question is, do they go with that and do they turn anyone? Because we know in the background, in the periphery, we also know that we've got a Jade Cargill storyline to finish up. We still have Naomi, who's still part of that. How do they plan on addressing that situation, and how does it plug into the championship picture? So if they're going to do it in that sense, then yeah, I can see a huger percentage of that being the case. But I would love to see that match. I think the fans would love to see that match. Heck, you would like to see that match. I would like to see that match. So yeah, I think that if we're going forward and we know that WrestleMania is where you're going to have those huge dream matches, unlike the dream matches that we've heard of from other places where there's no rhyme or reason to why having the match. If you're going to build a story out to make this match happen at WrestleMania and then put the other stuff in the periphery and build into it, I'm all for it.
Guys, I'm so sorry. I have to take a shot of this energy drink real quick because I don't know if my ears are probably just full of something right now. Maybe scat. But did Peeps just throw shade at the other side? This man said they have dream matches with no rhyme or Peeps, yo, you're onto something. Yo, yes. What happened to Peeps Nates, ladies and gentlemen?
You know, this is what it is.
This isn't the real Peeps.
This is what it is. I don't want anybody to think, and this is something that I've had this conversation with you and other people that know me, that know about me being a wrestling fan.
Absolutely.
I am not dumping on anyone, but at the same time, you see the difference in how these promotions like AEW and WWE are booking their matches or their dream matches on the horizon.
Absolutely.
You see them coming, but they build into why you want to see them. There's something that Arn Anderson used to say, is that when you cut a promo about who you are, you cut a promo about these two individuals, whoever's going to be in the match, and then when you finish the promo, you tell the people why it's going to make money. That's the missing part of what AEW doesn't do with a lot of their building of feuds. There has to be a reason why you're having the match, and then there has to be a reason why that match is going to make money. Bianca and Rhea, it builds itself. But if you just add to it and then you say WrestleMania, night one, there you go.
On a silver platter to you, you're not wrong.
There you go.
But I mean, there's plenty of other women who might just have to go ahead and have that spot as well. I mean, we've been hearing rumblings about Alexa Bliss possibly returning back to the company. We've been hearing about somehow, some way, in some world where we didn't ask for it, but I guess they want to go ahead and make this happen. I know John Cena certainly didn't ask for it, but we're hearing about one Nikki Garcia, formerly known to all as Nikki Bella, possibly making a return to WWE. Peeps, what is going on within the women's division? It's not like Nikki Garcia is needed. It's not like we see where Alexa Bliss may fit in. I don't know if it's within the Wyatt Six right now, with the way that the momentum has kind of shifted down. Peeps, what's going on? Is it just that they're trying to add alludence to WrestleMania? Is it because they know that with the road being in here with 90 days left till the shows, do they just want to just add intrigue so people can just be like, you know what, I might as well just get a ticket and tune in?
Yeah, I think that's basically what it is. I think they're kind of building out the next 3 months so that you have every week or every other week, there's somebody that is either entrenched with the company, has had some kind of history with the company. And then there's always that attitude of you never know what happens until you watch the show. If you're gonna watch the show, you have to find out at some point who may show up, who may be part of this ride to WrestleMania. Because one of those things that we've always talked about with WrestleMania is that they've always been great at building the reason why. There's always that one moment. We've talked about this over the years. There's always that one either promo or match or feeling that you get going into WrestleMania. Maybe it's a Paul Heyman promo. Maybe it's CM Punk has said something. Or maybe it's a match that hasn't happened yet that may happen on the horizon, but there's always something like, okay, now this feels like WrestleMania. These are the kind of breadcrumbs that you're leaving to get you to that aspect of getting to WrestleMania. We got 3 months to build, so we still got some time, but that's what they're doing.
I understand. Well, look, from there, before we can even go ahead and get to WrestleMania, peeps, we have to begin the road, right? Let's go ahead and move into news about the Royal Rumble. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, in case you've been living under a rock, in the words of Triple H, WWE's on fire right now. And when I say on fire, I'm not saying it just to say it. No. They're on fire. Ladies and gentlemen, with just about a week to go before the Royal Rumble to kickstart the road to WrestleMania 41, Lucas Oil Stadium and the WWE have sold 60,000 plus seats for this year's Royal Rumble, thus breaking the record held by San Antonio's Alamo Dome in 1997.
Wow.
Peeps!
Wow.
Where are people getting this kind of money to go to a show like this?
I don't know. I guess they're just messing around and they're just going to sell the whole building out, apparently. I mean...
Inflation is kicking our asses, and I think everybody's a drug dealer when it comes to wrestling fans. Like,
yeah,
it's
insane.
Sense.
It's insane. I mean, 50,000 is a great number for a premium live event, one of those major big 5 events for WWE. To get 60,000 in the first week of February,
that is
in this economy, that's saying something.
Talk about it.
That's saying something. We'll get to the point where WrestleMania tickets are selling like Super Bowl tickets, and the packages that they're giving you.
Don't speak on that. Please don't speak on that. Don't speak on that. I already look. Like I already got an arm and a leg this year. I don't want to think about not even potentially going to another one. No, peeps, they can't do this to me. No,
they're trying to take. They're basically literally trying to do the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom with the Ramakala. I think he goes ahead and takes the hand and pulls his heart right out of his chest and watches it beating and then sets it on fire. That's what they're trying to do to your wallet. So if you're going to go to see one of these shows, you're going to see one of these shows. Unless you're rolling in dough and you can go ahead and see all of these shows like Trini Fan, who is a front row for not only every premium live event, international or domestic, or he's on Raw. Because when they did Raw, is either Raw or SmackDown before WrestleMania 40 last year, he was at that show, and I saw him walking from. There's a mall across from the Barclays. He was coming from the mall and walking in, and there were a lot of people that saw Trini Fan and were like, Trini Fan, and he just kept on walking. You know, the fans are just as much as celebrities as the wrestlers go. So go figure.
It's insane, but it's only because their wallets are pretty much fatter than the egos that they might have possessed. I don't know how to go ahead and simply put it, but the fact that WrestleMania tickets are already expensive. I heard about Elimination Chamber tickets. That's another thing. But to think that Royal Rumble tickets, and even those that are in the nosebleeds, are pretty damn expensive, but people are still willing to buy just to be in the building, to sit there and be a part of history. That's
just
saying
the experience.
Something. Just the experience, simply put. Yes. But it's like, wow, that's another big accomplishment for WWE. So hats off to them. I'm willing to see what the turnstile count is within next week. Okay.
Yeah.
Anywho. Speaking of turnstile counts, we move to the world of AEW, and I'm gonna go ahead and kind of quote the WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels, because it seems as if someone has lost their smile, and I'm not talking about HBK. Neither am I talking about Bret the Hitman Hart. Neither am I talking about Tony Khan him damn self. I'm talking about the devil, Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF. Now, peeps, I think now's the part of our show where we usually go ahead and get into a rant. Probably scold the roster, maybe upper management, maybe just say the most downright outlandish things just to go ahead and pop a rating, to go ahead and get them pissed off. Maybe that's what we would do, right? I actually want to go ahead and take it down a notch. I want to be serious here.
Okay.
What the hell is AEW doing? Simply put it, they go ahead, they let Jeff Jarrett cut a promo to begin the year this year, saying that he wants to go ahead and win the AEW World Title. I think you are alongside a lot of us other wrestling fans who pay attention to the media and pay attention to what may be going on behind closed doors. We've been hearing rumblings that upper management isn't going to be putting the AEW World Title on JEFFJARRETT. Aha! There we go. Now, peeps, knowing this, they're putting him in a feud with MJF. And if you saw MJF's promo this past Wednesday, he seemed a bit off.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like Maxwell Jacob Friedman in stereo. It didn't seem like the devil. It didn't seem like the renegade, the face of AEW, the man who bet on himself. Or it didn't seem like the man who was just the sword of Damocles in the bidding war of 2024. So now, peeps, is he genuinely not happy with his current state in the company? Being that he did cut a promo stating that he wanted a shot to get the Triple B back, stating that he wants to go through Moxley, seemingly that he doesn't care what's going on. It seemed like he was just a bit of like a tweener, where it was just like, look, I want my title back. I don't care if I have to go through John Moxley or whoever it is. With Death Riders, I don't care. I just want my title back. And once I get the Triple B, all will be well. But now it seems as if he's in a feud with Jeff Jarrett, and that doesn't seem to be what he wants. Peeps, what are your thoughts on this? And what do you see is going on with MJF?
I think MJF is probably the greatest heel in the history of, I say the history, but I say within the last 10 years. He is, to borrow a term, very cerebral. He is very, very guarded in some instances, but he also knows what he's going to say. His facial expressions, he can emote what he wants with before he says anything. He comes across with the natural charisma and also the background of seemingly being a savant at only 28 years old. Saying that, do I think he's unhappy in his role in AEW? I don't think he's unhappy in his role. I think that he, in his mind, thinks that AEW has a better talent pool than the WWE. And I think that what in his mind he's doing is holding the fort down while the rest of the roster comes back to where he thinks they belong. And it comes across sometimes in his promos that he is projecting all of the things that he wants at a wrestler that maybe a lot of the fans might be thinking and using that emotion. Now, I'm pretty sure that MJF loves the fact that he's in AEW. The money he's gotten, the fact that he can say whatever he wants, he can kind of do whatever he wants, and has a light schedule. Because let's really be honest, MJF isn't wrestling every week. Yes. He knows he's box office. He's now playing the part. Former AEW World Champion. Now, do I think that is going to be an issue? I don't think so. Has he lost his smile? Maybe that's what he wants you to think. And that's the brilliance in MJF. So if AEW is smart, they will do everything in their power to make sure that MJF and this current run that he's doing becomes the best that he can do and put the best opponents in front of him as possible. And in doing so, he's trying to also build up Jeff Jarrett.
Definitely. I can completely understand that. Hot Rod says this. He says, MJF is trying his best, but he needs someone battling on his level.
He said it himself. There's no one on the level with the devil. And it's very rare that you're going to get somebody. I mean, that's a great point. It's very rare that you're going to get a wrestler in that company that is on the same level aura-wise, promo-wise, like MJF. There are people that are there. Samoa Joe gave him a really good promo battle back and forth. I'm going to throw another name that gave him a good promo battle back and forth some time ago that's currently in limbo. Ricky Starks, who I have no idea why he's not on television every damn week with some sort of a championship. It makes no sense to me.
Peeps? You know what? Let's actually take time to talk about this. And since this is the last topic for Wrestling Crash Course, I think we can talk about this.
Yes.
Ricky Starks, Deonna Purrazzo, Jamie Hayter, Malachi Black. Peeps, what do all those names have in common? They want to be booked!
Mm-hmm.
They want some exposure!
Yes.
Some sense of being wanted! Jamie Hayter, former women's champion, who didn't just lose the title flat out. She got injured.
Yes.
Didn't get a rematch clause for the title. Hasn't made her way back to the title. Meanwhile, we got Toni Storm in some type of trance-like, still in her timeless stage, but just trying to play the role of old Toni Storm.
Yes.
You have Deonna Purrazzo, virtuosa, great star in TNA. Got to see her live many times. Peeps, the next live event, pay-per-view that's taking place is literally in her hometown. She is begging Tony Khan and upper management to at least give her some type of booking where it matters, where she can go ahead and perform in front of her hometown. Is she going to get that? Probably not. Malachi Black. The amount of times since the minute this man went ahead and gave Cody Rhodes a black mass at, I believe it was Bash on the Beach, that one episode of AEW that took place in Miami, Florida. We've been waiting for Malachi Black to be booked like the star that he is. Let's see, peeps. Trios titles. Julia Hart gets to go ahead and win a title. Perfect. You know, the inclusion of Buddy Matthews and Brody King. Perfect. Great, right? Yeah. First time about to go ahead and get his real main title push, and we both thought that it was going to happen, where he was going to win the title. Cope comes out of nowhere and hits the Hulk Hogan, since he really idolized the man so much. That's not going to work for me, brother. Like
steroids.
Mind you, has the match in the steel cage, breaks his leg. You would think, because Malachi Black was that next man up, you would think that he would get a chance to go ahead and get back that chance at winning the title. No, they passed it on to Jack Perry. Hence the frustration. Hence Malachi Black, Tommy End, Aleister Black, whatever you want to go ahead and call him. Hence him wanting to be out of it. Hence him wanting to be away from wrestling. Hence him thinking about retiring. I think there's a pattern here that they're following, peeps.
Yes.
And to me, I sit there and I remember Tony Khan being on Chris Jericho's podcast, literally during AEW's inception, and he kept saying, him and Jericho, they were both like, oh, you know what? We're completely different from WWE. See, WWE, they're trying to sign everybody, but they're not going to use everybody. See, us, we're more mindful of who we want to choose for the company and how we want to go ahead and point it in the right direction. Since 2019, they have signed a numerous amount of ex-WWE guys who still haven't been used to the current extent that you would think that they would be used. You still have, let's see, a homegrown talent like Powerhouse Hobbs, who still hasn't become AEW World Champion. You still have...
Don't get me started on not only Hobbs, but also on
Ricky Starks,
Private Party.
Private Party losing the title. I know,
Yeah.
peeps. I'm not gonna carry through with it. Trust me. Trust me, I'm not. Trust me,
Yes.
I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not. But you have the dark horses and the faces that could have been perfect within AEW, like Hikaru Shida, being a second-hand placeholder for the title, just to go ahead and hand it over as a placeholder. You have Deonna Purrazzo coming into the company thinking that she's going to be used in the right form. Nothing. Peeps, the amount of names that they've been signing where it hasn't done nothing but just say, oh, we have these people, we have that people. The fact that I was really happy that Private Party was getting a shot. And just to think that out of nowhere, ex-WWE guys for the win. Not that I don't hate that black talent is winning the titles and they're getting exposure and all that kind of good stuff. But there's a reason why Private Party was so liked. But I digress. Peeps, what is it that AEW is doing? And what do they have to do to get out of this slump? Does Tony Khan have to get his head out of the coat stash? Or is Bosom? Does he have to stop spending father's credit card money? Does he have to go ahead and begin to look within and begin to let go of certain things like a Jerry Jones, so to say? Although Jerry Jones isn't doing the exact same thing either. You know what? I'll shut up. Peeps, what does Tony Khan have to effing do? Because I'm sick and tired of this.
Yeah, I think Tony Khan needs to take a long look in the mirror and find out how is he helping or hurting his company. Because let's really be honest. The one thing that we all looked at as far as fans watching AEW was that they were the anti-WWE. We had a lot of energy when WWE's product was in the toilet as far as the mainstream wrestling fans and the diehard wrestling fans. We gave them all the energy because AEW was the alternative. They had all of this talent. Guys that were in WWE that should have gotten pushed. Guys that left TNA that should have gotten pushed came to AEW, and some of them got pushed. Some of them didn't, or at least get pushed to the way that they should have. And then what we then saw was that Vince McMahon at the time was releasing a lot of guys, then realized AEW might be competition. So he started to try and hoard a lot of his talent away and not use them so they just wouldn't appear on AEW's programming, which is the same kind of thing that AEW did when they got the chance to sign all of this talent that left WWE. The problem is they didn't really use these guys. Yep. So you have a lot of these guys like Ricky Starks, like Miro, who just completely disappeared off the face of the earth. They had a horrible debut with Miro when he first started with that I'm the best man nonsense and teamed him with Joey Janela. Janela's gone. And a lot of the other guys that were in the company, kind of like the trimming the fat, they're gone. But they have still a roster that rivals any other company on planet Earth today. And they're not using a lot of those guys. That's the problem that Tony Khan has with AEW and the talent that is on that roster that needs to get pushed. The ones that need to get pushed, they're either hurt or they're not getting pushed in the right way. Private Party, it was great that they won the tag belts. They deserve to win the tag belts. And then they gave them the most underwhelming title reign where they defended the belt, I think, twice. I think they defended it on Collision, and then they had a one title match on Dynamite. That was it. And then you introduced the Hurt Syndicate, and they buried them. Let's really call it what it was. It was a burial.
It was a burial. Yup. Golden shovel.
So that's the problem that AEW has. When you have talented guys and talented wrestlers on that roster that should be pushed, and you don't give them or the fans a connection to that talent as to why they're getting pushed, which is one of the main reasons why the Death Riders storyline doesn't connect with anyone. Because for the most part, we understand what they're trying to do. It just doesn't make any logical sense what they're doing. At all. That's the problem.
And it's because they're delaying the build. They're delaying whatever is supposed to be the climactic point where it continues to go ahead and go up in a crescendo. I expected the best from the story. Now it's just watered down BS. Hot Rod says it perfectly. He's like, They all should join the Death Riders, aka the Bored Horsemen.
Yes.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. It's nothing now. I'm tired of the feud. Move over to something else, because what the heck is a rated FTR?
Yeah.
What the heck is a cope? Why the heck am I not seeing the AEW title instead of it's being held in a briefcase while being held by Roderick Strong's wife? Why isn't Roderick Strong a part of this feud in some way, shape, or form, being that literally we know that his wife is a part of this? You want to blur the lines, AEW? Give us a sense of reality here. Why not just have everybody go ahead and go against the Death Riders? Just like somehow, some way, you had a lot of the good baby faces in the Attitude Era going up against the corporation. Or every single WCW person on the roster had to go up against the NWO. Give us something here. Don't just blow off of one feud just to be like, you know what, we're going to probably put the title on Edge. Why all? We don't know what the heck is going on with Adam Cole. You put him back within another watered-down version of the Undisputed Era? I digress. I don't want to do this anymore, peeps. Look,
I'm gonna give you a perfect thing of what could be done or what they could be doing, and then call it a day before we go to the ratings for the last 2 weeks. This is what AEW could do to wake this storyline up. If the whole idea behind the Death Riders is that Jon Moxley is supposed to be an agent of change, agent of chaos, we don't like the old guys that are here that are just assuming that just because they're in the company and they've been somewhere else that they deserve to have championships and deserve this and deserve that, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Absolutely. Death Riders, Moxley wins the belt. Moxley now holding the belt hostage. Now, if the reason why the belt isn't on television is because they're going to make a new belt, which is what I'm kind of suspecting, or maybe that's just wishful thinking, who knows? If that's the case, okay, fine. Then make that a reason behind why it's not on the champion or not the belt isn't on television by having Moxley destroy the belt. By doing what PCO did to the TNA Digital Media Championship. Break up the belt, destroy it. Say that this is a representation of all the evils that were in AEW. Now, the Death Riders are taking over the company, so to speak, with no benefactor involved. And now you got to have the guys from AEW coming out to try and defend the honor of the promotion. You have broken factions around. Forget Orange Cassidy, even though he's an original. Forget about that. You have Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, which they did a great job of on Dynamite, trying to get them back on the same page. And it made logic sense what Kenny Omega told him when they had their promo. You need help with this Don Callis family. I don't trust you. Tried to break my neck. Why would I ever help you out? They come back. They jump him. They beat him up. Omega comes back to help him anyway because he saw Ospreay tried to help Omega. Now that you've got that together, now you've got Omega, and now you've got Ospreay. They're in lockstep now. You get Adam Copeland, who's now wanting to take up the mantle of AEW. You all have them there together. You have the other guys on the roster trying to defend against the Death Riders. Because what we see every week, the Death Riders beat people up, and the faces never get any comeuppance. It looks like the old NWO, how the NWO would always jump someone every week, and the faces almost never got any comeuppance.
Poor Rey
So what happens? You bring that up until eventually they're on the same page, and then you bring back Darby Allin, who I firmly believe is going to be world champion when he gets back from Mount Everest, because they wrote him off of TV by throwing him down a flight of stairs. Okay. But of all of the people that are there, that is of the pillars of AEW, Darby Allin is the only one that gives you vibes of a believable person to get behind. And when he gets back, all of these wrestlers having matches to weaken the Death Riders until Darby Allin comes back and eventually wins the title. That's what you do. You give the fans something to kind of believe in while showing that the Death Riders is not going to run roughshod over this company. I'm just saying. That's just something off the dome. You can piece parts of the story together, make more sense here and there, but it's a lot better than what we're seeing right now.
Tony Khan, if only somehow, some way, you would be able to go ahead and hire a 3,000-year-old man who actually has insight on the business here. Like my friend Peeps knows what he's saying, alongside a lot of other people that usually show up on the show. You know, I mean, you know, Corey the Brain, so to say. I feel like his booking decisions would be far better than yours if we're just being honest. And he's a real AEW show, and the fact that I'm defending his honor because you can't even. I digress. I digress.
Here we go.
Please, give me the ratings. Look, just give me the ratings. Right. Give me the ratings.
Okay. Since we didn't do the ratings last week, I'll start with the ratings last week and compare them to this week before we go to our break.
Okay.
Last week, AEW did for the 15th 679,000 viewers, which was 18.18 in the demographic, whereas NXT the night before did 779,000. Fast forward to this week, AEW did 655,000 and a 0.19 in the demographic, which is 18 to 38 or 18 to 45 in that demographic, and NXT did 812,000. Go figure. Now, the one thing that we talked about when Raw debuted on Netflix, because obviously the way that the ratings are going to be, they're going to be different. You're not going to get those numbers per se, but they had a huge letdown from week 1 to week 2, which happens with all new TV shows because of the build of the curiosity, the promotion. You're not going to get the same effort, so to speak, at a debut than the following weeks. So obviously there's going to be a drop off. But in general, those ratings are looking like AEW is trying to figure out where their footing is. Whereas NXT, 900,000 here, then they get to 650,000, and they get to 800,000 and the 700,000. They're really starting to get that footing between 800,000 much more often since they moved to the CW.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. So eyes are being on a product. It's perfect. It's working. Whatever the case may be. Let's just look to see if AEW can go ahead and bounce back. That's all I want. That's all I want. Hot Rod says something here. He says, holy crap, where's Lana? Obafemi's bedroom. Don't ask. Anywho.
Real Obafeminist.
There you go, peeps. Taekwon Mills has made a return, ladies and gentlemen, to Saturday afternoon's main event. He's like, YTF is phenomenal when recording from his dead grandmother's bedroom. Funny. Wow. You're funny. Then he says, Peeps got kicked out of the Nation of Islam for picking up a white woman. Jeez. Oh, wow. He said they call you Milkman Maurice for the sake of alliteration. Yo, Taekwon, we missed you, bud. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Perfect. It wouldn't be same on a Saturday afternoon without Taekwon Mills, ladies and gentlemen. But look. From here, this marks the end of the first half of Same. When we come back, we're going to go ahead and get into our questions. And, of course, the last piece of today's show, Saturday night main event predictions for tonight's episode of SNME. So stay tuned. Do not go anywhere because the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event is coming up next. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to the second half of Saturday afternoon's main event. Of course, it is not a phenomenal one. Right next to me is the Pete Snake. We're here to give you laughs, good times, and all the wrestling news possible. If you are hearing the background music right now, you are hearing the instrumental to Travis Scott's 4x4, the newest theme song to WWE Monday Night Raw on Netflix. Peeps, it's crazy to think that throughout the 30 years that Raw's been on the air, this is the first time that they're actually getting a major celebrity to go ahead and do their theme song, which sounds pretty good, by the way. If you haven't listened to it, go ahead and listen to it. I don't know if it's Pete Nature's cup of tea, because mind you, he used to listen to Liberace when he was just only 14. So if we're keeping it $150 here, guys, I would say go ahead and listen to it if you're modernist. But aside from that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we're going to go ahead and get into our questions here on Saturday afternoon's main event. Remember, if you want to go ahead and be a part of the fun and you want to send in the question yourself, all you got to do is one thing and one thing only. DM us on Instagram at Saturday Afternoons _main event. Send in a question, and just like the wrestling god, WWE Hall of Famer JBL, I guarantee it will be on the next episode of the show. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get into the first question here, and it comes from Master Sean 007. Of course, like always, he says, greetings, gentlemen. With Penta now with the WWE as the eventual successor to Rey Mysterio, who were some of the luchadors who you would think were as good or almost as good as Rey Mysterio? Juventud Guerrera comes to mind in my opinion. I like the juice. That's perfect. Yes. But peeps, if I'm going to keep it a $150 here, and we're going to talk about luchadors, and we're going to talk about the art style of lucha libre in professional wrestling, and we're bringing up Rey Mysterio, it's only fair. Only to me, okay? It's only my opinion. If you guys don't agree with me, I understand. The second closest thing to Rey Mysterio has to be one of his fiercest, toughest opponents. Give me Psychosis. That's just me. That's just me. Honestly, that's just me. Peeps, what are your thoughts?
Nice. That's a good one. Cyclope is also another good one.
Oh, perfect.
Super crazy.
Super crazy. Forget about that.
I watched a lot of CMLL, and I used to watch Dr. Wagner Jr. and used to see a lot of the other the Invaders and a lot of other luchadors that wrestled in the 80s and the 90s, and a lot of those wrestlers that are there that were in WCW that were prominent in the business. Because let's really be honest, the luchadors were the backbone of WCW during those Nitro years. When they decided to go to 3 hours, they needed to have high quality matches. And those matches were done by a lot of those luchadors. And if we're talking masks and we're talking a lot of wrestlers that were there, and you said Psychosis and a lot of others are Super Crazy and Juventud Guerrera, Cyclope. There are so many others that are out there that have wrestled, that have been on camera, that have been in all of the other promotions. Anybody with the last name Guerrero, whether it's Chavo, whether it was Hector, whether it was Mando, any of the Guerreros were there. If you want to call Chris Benoit a luchador when he wrestled in Japan as Pegasus Kid, when he had the mask on, you can go ahead and do that.
You can say that.
Yes.
That's true.
There were so many great luchadors out there.
You know what? I got the best one.
Okay.
El Generico.
There you go.
I'm done.
You go.
Ladies and gentlemen, give me a round of applause. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you.
There you go.
Sorry, guys, I'm just kidding.
I understand. Yes, there are a lot of luchadors, and they are as important to the business as any other group of talented wrestlers that have ever been a part of professional wrestling. You need to have a strong luchador contingent so that you have all of the aspects of professional wrestling covered.
Absolutely right, peeps. I just have to go ahead and say this. It's funny because Taekwon is really you know what? Perfect. El Dandy.
There you go.
Mr. America.
Mr. America, yeah.
Juan Cena.
Yes.
And by far, my favorite one from him right now, Essa Rios. Peeps.
There you go. Essa Rios, yes.
I'm losing it right now, man. Oh my gosh. Who would ever thought I would have to hear S.A. Rios in same comparison to some of the greatest luchadors of all? Good grief, Taekwondo, you're killing me, dog. You know what? Just add Nacho Libre while you're at it, man.
There you go.
But from there, we move to the next one. And it goes from Jadinator Productions. He says, "You're in a bar fight. Which 5 wrestlers will you depend on to help you?"
Haku, and Jacob Fatu. That's it.
I was genuinely gonna say almost every single Samoan that I could possibly think of. I was just gonna say, you know what? How about this? I'll just pick the modern ones: Jacob Fatu, Zilla Fatu, Roman Reigns. I'd say you can add Haku to the list, even though he's old. Okay, yeah, we're still adding Haku.
Yes,
that's 4.
That's 4.
Okay, 5. Jeez.
Okay. What about a Rikishi? I mean,
Pete.
Do you don't think he could still try and break somebody's neck if he had a chance to?
Peeps, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? Okay, his past.
You tell him to his face that he couldn't defend you if you needed it. If you
what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? What is he gonna do? He's literally 10 years past the prostate. Is it gonna be a freaking stink face again?
At least it's not. At least it's not Tamatonga. At least it's not. Ha!
I'd rather that.
Ha!
Because guess what? That's the CEO with a master's degree in yeah.
Yes.
So I can't be mad at that. Listen,
Okay.
It's not Tonga Loa that we're talking about here, okay?
Okay.
Okay. That's not. I'm sorry. But see, Corey even agrees. Haku was an obvious one I whiffed on.
Yes, like I told you.
It's Haku. It's Haku.
Yes. Like I said, give me 4 Hakus and a Jacob Fatu for the win. There you go.
Oh Lord. Taekwon says all I need is Scott Hall with the strap.
Oh boy.
Yo, bro,
Hey,
I miss you, man. Yo, I miss you.
Hey yo.
Hey, yo. I don't have a toothpick, but like, good grief. Jeez, I can just imagine Scott Hall walking into a club. Fuji's playing in the background, just.
Yes.
Jeez, good grief. Rest in peace to Scott Hall. But look, from there, Corey says Stan Hansen, Bam Bam Bigelow, Vader, Ron Simmons, and Lesnar. Yeah, I ain't messing with you I ain't messing with you,
Vader,
man.
Vader was really stiff wrestler. Stan Hansen was legitimately a nutcase. And I'll throw in one more name then to round all of this off, and that's Terry Funk. The late Terry Funk. You throw in maybe a Harley Race, 2 of the legitimate toughest people that you could ever have. There you go.
I mean, peeps, it's funny because you named your top 5 and I didn't even hear Gunther. You know, a chop from that man would be sinister and it'd be over with. But you know what? We can go ahead and resurface this back within the next couple of months. Who knows?
We will run this topic back. Yes.
Exactly. Absolutely. But thank you, Master Sean 007, for that one. Thank you, Jedinator Productions, for your question. The next one goes to Tombstone City Adam. He says, I heard through the grapevine that AEW isn't planning on putting the title on Jeff Jarrett. We know they wouldn't. So why waste TV time on Double J while another star could be made? We literally just covered this question.
That's pretty
I don't feel like going back into it because I would be pissed off right now. So I'd rather not. But Tombstone City Adam, we appreciate the question. Look. They just got to do better. That's all. That's all. Look,
even with the Jeff Jarrett part of this, they could still use this feud to put others over. If anything, they could have thrown Jay Lethal into this one. They could have done a number of things.
What a name! What a name! Wouldn't Jay Lethal just be? I'll shut up, peeps. Don't get too ahead of yourself, bud.
I understand.
Look, last one goes to Long Island Isaiah. He says, I honestly don't care about the other competitors in the Rumble. I just want to hear 60,000 plus chant "whoop that trick." Wow. I'm with you on that. Peeps, can you imagine? Can you imagine? Because it seems like they're really doing good with these number 1 and 2 draws in the Rumble for the last couple of years. Peeps, can you imagine if Carmelo Hayes enters as the number 1 in the Rumble? He could eventually be the Iron Man for this year's Rumble, which I wouldn't be mad at.
Yes.
But can you imagine Carmelo going ahead and making his entrance? They go, bring on the next competitor. And out of nowhere, it's Trick Williams. Yes. Peeps, can you imagine the calamity of how cool that would be? I mean, I would just be getting goosebumps just hearing the whoop that trick from the TV screen. You know what?
Yes.
Let's hope that when it happens, I'll enjoy it. That's all.
Yes.
That's all. But
the building would crack. That's how loud it would get.
I mean, peeps, let's be honest. The last time Indianapolis probably cracked that hard was when Mike Tyson stepped foot in it in the 90s. I'll shut up.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, look. That marks the end of the questions. We're done with questions for today. We enjoyed them. We appreciate them. We thank you guys for those who sent in ones. If you want to send in one, of course, like we said, if you want to be a part of the action, DM us a question at Saturday Afternoons _main event. But with that being said, peeps, look, we got one more thing to cover. We're going to go ahead and steamroll through this. It's only 4 matches from what I'm hearing, which is, of course, not a shocker due to Triple H's pay-per-view format and premium live event formats nowadays. But look, Saturday night's main event, episode 38. Jeez, okay. Gunther, Jey Uso, Braun Breaker, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, Jacob Fatu, and Ripley Jax. Peeps, look, quickly, just go down the list and name who's winning from each match for you, because I think I got it completely right, where I'm thinking it goes Gunther, Breaker, Strowman, Psych, you thought. Fatu, of course, come on, let's be for real here, and Ripley. Am I correct?
And you would be absolutely correct on all of them, because those are the exact same ones that I'm going through as well. It doesn't go any other way.
I agree with you. As much as we would
Now,
like to go ahead and see.
The good thing we can actually bring up in this is the fact that Hulk Hogan is actually not going to be on the card. Yes.
Hallelujah! I get to
Yes.
hear Jesse Ventura and no Hulk Hogan.
Yes. Yes.
That's like doing Saturday afternoon's main event now and not having to hear the name Triple C being uttered across my ear. This is phenomenal. Great.
There you go.
Perfect.
There you go.
There you go, peeps. Look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, there goes our predictions. That was quick. That was easy. That was out of the way. And that, my friends, has been 56 minutes of pro wrestling news, laughs, and good times. Because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this finally marks the end of Saturday afternoon's main event. We appreciate you for sitting here on a Saturday afternoon with your boys, the Pete Snake and the Phenomenal One, to just enjoy and bask into the world of pro wrestling, listen to our thoughts, enjoy a couple of laughs, enjoy a couple of vulgar things from Taekwon over here. Love you, man. God bless your soul. But anywho, we appreciate you. We thank you for the love. Be sure to go ahead and look at our social media for any upcoming updates, any other pieces of news. Most definitely, there's supposed to be one video that I will be uploading this afternoon to our Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube pages. So be on the lookout for that. But look, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this has been Saturday afternoon's main event. I, the Phenomenal One.
And I, the Peeps Nate, where we came.
We saw.
And in the words of the great Hall of Famer Paul Heyman,
speak on it, peeps. Let them know.
We conquered.
We conquered, ladies and gentlemen. That's it.
That's it.
See you next week for episode 6. This is the Phenomenal One. Right next to me is the Peeps Nate. This has been Saturday afternoon's main event. Peace, love, farewell.